All right, welcome to episode 3 of the Setbreaker podcast. And today we have got Dmah, aka Dmah of Martial Club.
Okay. I like the way you say that. Sounds so much better when you say it.
Dude, it's been in my head all day. But yeah, if you guys don't know, Martial Club has been around for 7
years.
7 years.
Oh my
7
gosh,
years, right?
That's to the point where I have to think about it now.
I know, right? 7 years, and they've got 418,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I didn't even know that.
Even he doesn't know. See, that's how humble he is. That's how humble Dmah is. You know, and what these guys do, Dmah, Andy Lee, Brian Lee, what they do is Hong Kong cinema style kung fu films, like kind of like Donnie Yen, Jackie Chan.
Yep, yes, all heroes, all idols. We grew up watching them, you know, like we were kids. We had like that typical Asian kid experience in America, you know, kind of bullied, kind of like outcasted. Even like them coming from Westminster and me coming from Torrance, like you still found a way to feel outcast in elementary school. I was fat as a kid. I was bullied, and I turned to kung fu movies for solace because like Bruce Lee, he doesn't get bullied, you know. He doesn't get made fun of for being Chinese, and he doesn't get, you know, like called fat because he's not fat. But I was fat. So I'm like, dude, how do we fix this? Yeah. And it was like monkey see, monkey do. So I always playing kung fu with my brothers, with my brother, with my dad. And then eventually I started learning martial arts for real. And then when I finally grew up and I found Andy and Brian and I realized we were like-minded people, it's like, dude, we got to make something happen. Wow. And like they grew up the same way. Monkey see, monkey do. So they started playing with a camera when they were kids. I didn't really have access to that stuff. So I was just like learning martial arts, and like they were doing it street style and getting super good. So like by the time I was in college, I started training at a gymnastics gym called Dmah in Costa Mesa. And like that's where martial artists go to learn flips and stuff, you know, in a way where you're not going to break your neck. And I was like still a little new, so I'd stayed in my own corner because everyone's like super good over there, you know. I was in my corner doing my own thing. Like when they were like going crazy with the flips because I didn't know that much back then, I just started practicing kung fu. And Andy, it's kind of like open gyms. That's where, you know, like b-boys and trickers go to like refine their craft. And so I was at this open gym, and it's kind of like a playground. So even though we're like college people now, we're like grown-ass men, you know, so to speak. But it's still like a very playground-ish environment. So it's like a playground, there's a king of the playground. And Andy was kind of like the guy there, you know? So he's the one who's like killing. Yeah, you know, he's like killing it every single session. So like obviously there's a hierarchy, even though it's unspoken. But he noticed me, you know, practicing kung fu off in the corner. He's like, dude, you do kung fu too? And he's like, we all trick here, but nobody does kung fu anymore. And it turns out he was like really into Chinese martial arts. So like we started trading forms, started hanging out, and we realized that it wasn't just flipping and tricking that was our common core. It was martial arts. And I found out that sorry, I like totally went off it.
Dude, this is about you, man. You're the guest. Whatever. Now it's my turn. No. Yeah, people heard enough from me.
But yeah, basically, like it turns out they were the kind of kids, him and his brother, who film martial arts scenes on camera, you know. So he's like, yeah, but like nobody wants to do traditional style martial arts anymore. Like you're one of the few people. So like, can we do what we call shapes? You know, like if you watch those old like 70s movies where it's like, oh, you killed my master, you know? Yeah. Like, and then they do like the traditional style martial arts. So you see like tiger claws and crane beaks and stuff like
praying
that.
Mantis.
Yeah, exactly. Praying mantis, which is what I do. So he's like, yeah, like I've been looking for somebody to do that with me. So we started filming, you know, churning out shorts after shorts. But at this point, we were just friends, like playing around on a camera. And then like one day we were sitting around and hanging out, and he's like, "Hey Dmah, what's your favorite kung fu movie?" And it was like, okay, like I exaggerate a little, but I don't think I'm exaggerating that much. Like it's like one of those moments where like gravity just like turns up, And like, like the camera shows like a little shot next to the floor. You see the gravel kind of like floating.
Like Dragon Ball.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Goku's
something
changing
crazy.
to like Super Saiyan level 2.
Like something crazy is about to happen. Like something irreversible is about to be said. I thought about it and I saw it in my head and I looked at him in the eyes. I looked
at his forehead.
I looked deep into his eyes,
Deep.
Deep. Like, and it's like I could tell he was thinking the exact same thing. And I'm like, Marshall Club. And we said it at the exact same time. Like, Marshall
really?
Club. Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And because like Marshall Club is a movie that was, I think it was produced in 1981, Shaw Brothers movie. And like I could go into the story, but I don't want to bore you with the details. But basically, it has this really amazing end fight scene that takes place in an alleyway. And it's a guy from the north and a guy from the south. So in Chinese martial arts, northern style is really different than southern style. They're like polar opposites. But they decided to like test their knowledge. And as the alleyway gets more and more narrow, like the sophistication of their martial arts has to improve. So they're showing each other the depth of their style. And they're like comparing notes while they're trying to prove who's the better person, which style is the better martial art, which martial artist is the better martial artist. And it's just an amazing fight scene, and it's way ahead of its time. And it's like it embodied everything we were thinking and everything we were doing. And I'm like, dude, Martial Club is like our favorite fight scene. And here we are like doing it like they were doing it. We do martial arts, and we're kind of like a club. So we should call ourselves Martial Club.
Oh, dude, I'm Andy Lee right now. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was just one of those moments, and it just kind of stuck. And like at first, just like throwing up our stuff on YouTube, 100 views here, like a couple likes, pity likes from our friends.
Pity likes. Oh, good. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. But eventually, we just kept doing it,
Yeah,
and like more and more people started to take notice. And now it's like it is what it is. It's like it's growing, and I feel like recently we're just like in the pocket. Like things are starting to pop off for us. But you know what? No matter how big things get, the mission statement always stays the same. Because film might be our main thing, but like I think at the end of the day, it's all about teaching people how to be better. Yeah. Like I always, when people ask me like, what is Martial Club all about? I always like I always drop the same line. I hope it doesn't sound rehearsed, but I always tell them that the mission statement of Martial Club is to promote the virtues and ethics of martial arts. So basically, we're embarking on this long martial arts journey, and we're learning to be not just martial artists, we're learning to be people. So we're trying to attain excellence in martial arts, and in doing so, we're trying to attain excellence as people. So like I totally believe that everybody needs to do this. Not everybody needs to do martial arts, but people need to learn to strive for excellence. So we practice Kung Fu, right? Kung Fu. Kung Fu in Chinese, actually, it has a martial arts connotation, but it doesn't necessarily mean martial arts. It more literally translates to skill that's developed through hard work over time. So it's like Kung Fu is something anyone can learn. You're refining your craft as a comedian. That's Kung Fu. If you're learning to drive, learning to cook, learning to sew, anything that is a craft that needs to be refined, that's Kung Fu. So we're teaching people to practice Kung Fu, regardless of whether they do martial arts or not.
You guys... Sorry, I choked right there. No, but you guys do that for me. Like, really? Yeah. Like I literally apply... Dude, every time I watch, like, Brian go, like, Warrior Spirit! That shit, like, it fires me up.
Yeah.
And I'm like... No, you gonna do that open mic right now, even though you're tired and you have like a 12-hour day. Like, totally. I applied the warrior spirit.
Yeah,
cause like I love combat sports, but I can't do it because I have like a medical like eye thing that I can't. Blah blah.
I think you're taking the smarter approach to life.
yeah, right. Good. They basically said it could be the 50th hit or the 100th hit. You may lose your vision, so probably don't do that. So I decided that I was like training boxing to like fight in a tournament and all that, and then they told me that the optometrist, and I said okay, I guess I'm just gonna not, because I was training like 3.5 hours a day. I stopped lifting weights so I could get faster and like, do all that stuff. 3.5 hours every day for like 3 months. And anyways, what was the point of that? Oh yeah. So like I applied that like combated like spirit to break down anything that gets in the way, but also like you're facing yourself, right? Like that's the spirit of the warrior. And I apply that from you guys to my stand-up because I have to face myself every day when I'm tired, because mine's even easier to say no to.
Yeah.
Because like it's like a physical thing. There's something about like, okay, I know if I go there I'll feel better. Like I have to do these kicks, this whatever. But with like stand-up, it's even easier just to say, no, tomorrow.
Yeah, dude.
Like I could just do it tomorrow.
Yeah. And
I realized I'm not going to get any better if I just keep doing that. And I'm lying to myself.
Right.
Is that really, I'm not embodying the dream that I want to, fulfill in my life. Right. Because for you guys, it's a day. I see you guys like boys like energy drinks. I slept like 2 hours, 2 hours. And I'm going to freaking do these kicks. And I'm like, if they're doing that, what excuse do I have? Yeah. Literally.
For the record, their blood type is not A or O or B. It's caffeine.
It's caffeine.
Blood type caffeine.
Yeah.
So if anyone needs a donor.
Yeah. Like sponsored by. Right? No, but seriously, like what you guys, your mission statement, I know it's happening. Even to people that don't say it, because, not everybody's like brave enough to say it, but like, dude, you guys are doing some big things, man.
Yeah.
And then when I'm on stage in like 10 years and I'm headlining, I'll be like, Marshall Club official. What's up, boy?
I can't wait. Like, dude, I really, really respect you for pursuing comedy, because I think of all things that people can get into, comedy is just one of those things where you got to do all the work. It's like nothing's laid out for you. And it's like, I don't know if it's accurate to say that there's not a blueprint, but it's like you really got to make everything happen yourself.
True.
Because it's like you got to drag your own ass to open mic night. And it's like there's no prescribed way to do it, right? I mean, I don't know much about comedy, but I love listening to like certain podcasts. I love Joe Rogan. I love Dave Chappelle. I love Bert Kreischer. I love Tom Segura. And I hear them talk about the process all the time. And like, it's right. They're totally working out. It's training, It is. Yeah. And like I feel like more than that, you got to have like a certain mind for it. They always say you got to have like a dark mind. But I think definitely you got to see the world a certain way. And then you also have to be, it just seems to me like you have to be kind of contrarian in the way you think. It's like you can't just agree with things.
That is very, very true. But I think that also ties in with the whole martial arts journey of what you guys do with like for instance, tricking, right?
Yeah.
You try to work on, I'm just going to make up a name.
Sure.
Like corkscrew swirl.
That's a real move.
Is it? Okay. Is swirl? Nah. Just corkscrew?
That's a variation that I'll invent tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Thank you for me. Name it after me. But like, you don't get that in the first try.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how long does it take sometimes for like these tricks?
Yeah.
Right? You do the same thing over and over, right?
Right. Totally. Lots of repetition. But you know what the interesting thing about tricking, and I think you'll probably find examples of this in everything.
Yeah.
It depends on you, So some people are just inexplicably good. And other people, like, they'll try for a lifetime and barely get anywhere. And it's like...
That is depressing.
Yeah, I know.
But that's true, yeah.
Yeah. Inequality of outcome. Because, like, honestly, I've been... when did I start? I started tricking in 2009. It's been 10 years. Wow. And, like, no joke, there are kids who are, like, 9 years old who have gotten not only to where I am, but way past where I am in, like, 2 years. Like, there are kids out there who dwarf me in terms of talent. And they've only been training. And yeah.
So the training.
Yeah. Like, honestly, there are kids who have gotten way past me in a fraction of the time that I've been doing it. But like, I could be bummed out about that. Like now I open my Instagram, I go on YouTube and I look up tricking today, and it is crazy. Like there are kids who can like spin and like they can like flip in the air and like spin like 3 times. And yeah. And like I will never like I have doubts of whether I can even get to 2. But I could sit here and like let that disappoint me or get me down. But really it's not about what you can do. It's about the process. It's about the fact that you tried and the fact that you accomplished. And it's not about how fast you get it. It's about how much time and effort you poured into it and like seeing, what you churned out at the end of the day. Like I've always believed that that's been the important thing. Like it's not the destination, it's the journey. Not to be cliche, but it's totally true.
It is. I don't know what's going on with my throat today, but
I have that effect on people.
Yeah, damn, because when you look like Nick Jonas, right? Stare at the camera. Doesn't he look like a Chinese Nick Jonas every time I see him? Even with especially with the hair today.
I tripped on some mud. I got some stuff on my face, but I've gotten that so many times. Like that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like it's gotten to the point where I don't like cringe when I hear it anymore. Like I actually kind of take it as a compliment.
It's a good thing. He's a good-looking guy. Look at him. Look at his face.
This guy is
Look at his face.
Trying to wine and dine me with his words.
Shit, man. Give me a couple years for when I get more money. I could take you to like Costco.
Oh
hot dogs.
shit.
Costco hot dogs, man.
Dude, I've waited my whole life for someone to tell me that, dude.
It's the simple things, you know.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, you know, that's because I started pursuing my journey at the age of 29. I didn't even come to the realization of it until like full realization until 29, 1 year ago. So this is my 1 year anniversary of doing stand up.
Dude,
and
congratulations.
Dude, thank you.
Here's
And like you're right about the process because I know somebody who started the same time as me and he's 22.
Yeah.
He's an awesome dude. And he's done like so much and he's 8 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I focused on that, I might stop. But just as you said, it's about the process. It's about how much better have I gotten. Yeah. Like not this comparison of what did I accomplish in terms of like on paper type stuff. No, it's really, for me, it's 100% about the craft and the skill. Like I pride myself on how far I've come, and it's just really amazing to see. Because I mean, 10 years for you, and you have video evidence of that. That's got to be some crazy stuff looking back on it, right?
It's a trip, dude.
Yeah, it's got to be fucking crazy, you know.
Yeah.
So how do you? Okay, so like, how does your body feel now compared to like 10 years ago?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just turned 30. And for me, it was like a huge milestone isn't the right word because I didn't go into age 30 with a lot of optimism. Yeah. Because like it's kind of like what you were saying, you know, about the age thing. Like for a lot of things that we do, there's like a proper age to do it, right? You know. Yes. Like in combat sports, there's your prime years, usually around age 30. But it's like if you want to be successful, you need to have started when you were like 5, you know? Yeah. Like that's the case for a lot of things. Even I entered the world of tricking a little bit late, you know. I started when I was 18, 19. And like that doesn't seem...
That's late?
Apparently that's late because like kids are starting when they're like 5 now.
Oh,
and like like people are starting really, really young, younger and younger. And but you know, I digress. The point is like age 30 is considered, you know, old for a lot of these things, especially martial arts, especially if it's martial arts where you compete or anything like that. But it's not old at all. It's I'm realizing that it's a mindset, and I think it was just the big 3-0, the idea of the big 3-0 that was like causing me to you know, question myself. How much longer do I have to do this kind of thing? And of course, like the human tendency is to compare yourself to other people. We're kind of doing something similar to what Jackie Chan did. When he was 24, he already started Drunken Master. And we're like, dude, we're 6 years behind. But I stopped myself there because it's like, you're not Jackie Chan. And no one ever got anywhere trying to be somebody else. You know, I think that like the one thing I've been realizing lately is that the key to success is to break the mold. Okay, like so to just drop some martial arts movie history on you. Bruce Lee is the guy who kind of like made the kung fu movie. He was like that king of kung fu. Before him, there were movies with martial arts, but there weren't martial arts movies. You know, he really, really made something happen, and that was him breaking the mold. People didn't like think that you could break box office records by like making a movie about you kicking asses, you know?
Sorry, people didn't think you could bake cookies, but you know what? It's possible. You could bake cookies
if you put your mind to it.
Put your mind to it.
Get that chocolate chip.
Get chocolate chip.
Oh yeah, I was giving you a history lesson on
history.
Chinese martial arts. The point I was making was that nobody ever got anywhere by trying to be somebody else, and that the key to success is figuring out how to break the mold. You still got to be like fundamental. You still got to like go according to like some kind of truth, some kind of what works, right?
Like the base, like structure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, because like, Bruce Lee broke the mold by establishing what we now know as the Kung Fu movie. Back then, people were like, no, people want guns, people want revenge. He had all of those things.
What? Why do you sound like you're like a Mexican gangster from East LA? People want guns, dog. People want knives. I'm like, hey, come on.
I think that's just like, it's a martial club thing. Like, when we're ever saying something like sarcastically, we always like, I think it's just a function of where they grew up.
Yeah, or South Park.
Yeah. Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, Andy Lee and Brian Lee, like when we're just talking amongst us, it's not Andy and it's not Brian, it's Kenny. Because it's not just Kenny, it's Kenny. Yeah. So when Andy calls Brian by his name, it's Kenny. He doesn't call him Brian unless he's like serious. It's like unless he's like, give him like a spanking or something. And when Brian calls Andy, to talk to him, it's Kenny. So if you look at their phone, they're not in their phones as Andy Lee or Brian Lee. It's just Kenny. Kinny.
Oh, even in their phones?
Yeah, even on their phones.
I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah. To people who
cool.
know, and they're Kenny.
People that know, Kenny.
Yeah. So because they love South Park.
Yeah. when I first saw you guys do that, like, it was like my first time meeting them all. I wanted so badly to join in. Yeah. I wanted so badly to be like, because it's your guys' thing, and I just met them, but inside my head, like, you guys be like Kenny, and I'm just like when I'm not saying anything, in my mind I'm saying Kenny.
I know.
Yeah, I was like.
So the rest of us say it too, like when we're like just loosey goosey, we're just calling each other Kenny. But like, yeah.
But that's cool because each group of like bros, they got their thing, right?
Right.
And that's like part of it, and that's part of like the like family type of environment that you guys have created, right? I mean, you guys created an actual.
It's like a cult.
Brotherhood. I was gonna say brotherhood, but we go with cult. We'll go with cult. All right.
Yeah, totally. I love it, and I think like that's part of the appeal of Martial Club. It's like there's a legitimate camaraderie, a legitimate brotherhood, and like people see that, and people are like, dude, I want to be part of that, And I'm not saying like join the club. I'm saying like. You want that realness with people. You want to find that handful of people that you can really trust and that you can really confide in. But beyond that you can really make stuff happen with. Like you want to I think everyone should be so lucky to find someone like that in their lives. And I'm really glad that I found the Lee brothers. I'm about to start crying.
Yeah, I
all right, let's talk about steak and chest hair.
Dude, sometimes like, dude, my dad. When you'd have like steak night in your family house.
Yeah.
I mean, your family house, your house, right? Like, did they cook it well? Did they cook it like medium?
They I love that you specified that.
Yeah.
In my house, okay, so one is like I love meat because my mom raised me on meat. And I'm lucky because that can't be the case for everybody. But my mom was of that like mentality. It's like you want to have strong kids, you better feed them meat.
Yeah.
Can't be giving.
Not that vegan stuff.
I know.
Not hating on the vegans.
I'm not hating on the vegans, but y'all need some meat.
Yeah, y'all.
You don't make friends with salad.
Give him some meat.
Right. Yeah. So so my mom always like served meat. But like she would make steak. I love my mom's cooking, but she's the kind of like the Asian style. Like you cut it into cubes and you make it like medium well, dude. And it's like you can't have it all growing up, Like I honestly, I go to a restaurant and when I order steak, like I ask for rare, cause like if it's not like a nice steakhouse where like they can cook to perfection, or say if it's like Norm's or something, like or Denny's or any restaurant that like has steak.
Yeah.
If you don't ask for rare, they're gonna give you an 11 out of 10. Well done, dude. And even when I ask for rare, I've still gotten like a 10. Well done. Yeah, dude.
God, that's the worst, man.
It's a travesty.
Yeah, because my dad, he would cook it like beyond well. Oh. Because I'd see commercials of like Black Angus, and I'm like, why does it look so juicy there? Yeah. And why am I eating this cardboard, right? And then I was like, Dad, this is dry.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, just dip it in ketchup. Yeah, he told me. So I grew up just dipping steak in ketchup.
Yeah.
And then I dip more to like to make it less dry,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
would end up just tasting just like a chewy ball of ketchup. It was painful.
Yeah.
It was painful.
There have been atrocities in the past. There's Hitler and there's well done steak.
I don't know which one's worse. I'm not sure.
Yeah, dude. It's
That's a joke, guys.
depends on the day.
Okay. I feel like the steak thing I brought up just like derailed everything. It's like, where was
Dude,
the... Yeah.
Steak is a worthy topic. Dude. I love steak.
It
Like,
is.
it,
But
like-
you get a rare... Well, no. Do you actually... Okay, outside of like
Okay.
when you order
Okay,
from
well,
lunch,
what I really want is like medium rare. You know,
That is
but it's like I ask for rare because I know they're gonna give me well done.
strategically, that's why
Yeah,
you do that.
exactly.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Oh, I this is what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't do tricking. I don't do any like things that are impact my joints. But sometimes when I walk upstairs, my knee hurts.
Yeah.
You walk upstairs and also do flips. so
I
like,
flip upstairs.
how are your knees? I've always wondered, like, how are your guys' knees?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be sure, when you do something like tricking, your
Yeah.
knees are gonna feel it for sure.
Okay.
And like I was saying earlier, now that I'm 30, I realize a lot of that is a mentality, but for sure, recovery is super important because I definitely don't recover as fast as I used to. I can still like trick like I used to, and probably even better, but like recovery is a huge part of it. I wake up going like, oh my God, like, can it, my back. Yeah, especially my lower back, but definitely the knees. I think part of it is the way we came up training. So like, of course, that doesn't help people who are doing it now. But like the way I started training martial arts, like I always trained in thin sole shoes. What that did was that taught me ankle mobility and how to be light on my feet. And like I think one of the most important thing in any physical activity is learning how to be light on your feet. So it's like when we walk, we take it for granted, you know, because we do it every day. So like we walk heel toe, and we're not paying attention to the impact that our heel is creating when it like pounds into the floor, and all of that goes to our knees, you know. So it's like I tried to like in many ways proceed as if I don't want to leave a footprint, you know, like I want to be silent. And what that does is that causes me to engage more muscles in my legs, and overall that dampens the impact to my knees. And I practice that not just when I'm doing martial arts, but I'm also doing that while I'm walking, while I'm running. Like our knees take a lot of abuse, so I just try to give them as much love as possible. Definitely devoting enough time to recovery is important. Stretching, and also just taking time to decompress and resting like when your body needs the rest. So it's a matter of listening to the body and just treating it right.
Yeah. I think it was your video where you taught how to do splits, stretching for that.
Yeah.
I was doing that for a bit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was. And
Hell
then
yeah.
like right here on that couch
Yeah.
right there, like I'd use that as for support. But then it felt like my like that tendon that attaches to I think your balls. I felt like it was gonna like rip off. So then I stopped. But now it's I have even less mobility, so I need to start doing that again because you know I'm 30 as well, and
Right.
I'm starting to feel things here and there.
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah,
elbow
yeah,
from when
yeah.
I was boxing. Like you know, I was telling you like 3.5 hours a day.
It's a lot of
I
boxing.
I feel, dude. It is like I feel my left elbow.
Yeah.
Because from throwing jabs all day,
sure.
and there was times I definitely was not throwing it in with the right form for sure. You know, because I just wanted to just like whip it out for ego. But now I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it, and I haven't boxed in like years. You know?
Yeah, totally. Recovery is so good, and form, like you know, how they
Form.
say
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
ounce of prevention, pound of cure, all that. Totally true, especially in physical activity, especially in combat sports and martial arts. Like if you start right with the proper form and the right fundamentals, like it makes a difference in the long run how much damage you take.
Yeah.
Both like from another person and the damage that we inflict on ourselves.
Yes.
It's like fundamentals.
Are you Year of the Horse?
I'm not. I'm Year of the Snake actually.
Okay.
But I wish I was Year of the Horse.
Yeah,
It would be so.
I already knew
proper.
you were Year of the Snake because we were born in the same year. But the reason why I asked is because like, especially for an Asian guy, you got some horse legs, dude. Like you got some big legs, man.
Incidentally, my last name Ma means horse. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
No, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Ma means horse. So like that's why like when people make horse jokes, I'm like, I love horse puns, dude.
Dude, I think you were born So, like you were meant for that. Like I don't know if that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love like those little synchronicities in life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bruce Lee, his name is Lei Xiu Long, which means little dragon.
Yeah.
He was born in the year of the dragon, in the month of the dragon, in the hour of the dragon, in the middle of the dragon, of the second of the dragon. But
Enter the dragon.
Yeah. Enter the dragon. Dude.
Yeah.
Like there's that like strong dragon theme in his life, which is why. Yeah. And that's why Jackie Chan, his Chinese name is Xing Long, which means becoming the dragon. Because when Bruce Lee died, what I was saying earlier was Bruce Lee was a box office juggernaut. So he established a new thing in movies, and every one of his movies smashed the box office record that came before it. So he was such a cash cow that when he died, all the movie studios in Hong Kong were like, crap, what do we do? Yeah. So they went out and they set out immediately looking for the next Bruce Lee. So that started what's commonly known as the Bruceploitation era. Because like suddenly there were like movies everywhere about Bruce Lee and Bruce Lee and Bruce Leroy and all these people because they needed to clone Bruce Lee. And all these movies were shitty.
Yeah.
Like super, super shitty. And Jackie Chan actually started off as a Bruce clone. Mm-hmm. I forgot what his like Bruce tag was, but basically he realized like this isn't working. Like I'm box office poison, so like unless I do something, nothing can ever be said of my career if I don't set out and do things my way. Yeah. So like he's called Xing Long because he's becoming the dragon, but really Jackie Chan's like Bruce Lee's a hero. He's the tough guy. I'm just the nice guy. When he kicks high, I kick low. When he punches, you know, he has that badass look on his face. When I punch, I hurt, you know? So like he like used that as his philosophy to break the mold. And then he started not this era of like martial arts machismo, but like martial arts comedy. Like I can be the regular guy, that every man who can still get it done, you know? And people love that, and that's how he broke the mold. And that's why Jackie Chan is Jackie Chan, you know. I mean,
and he's a freaking international juggernaut as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I do this joke. I'm still working on it, but basically, I just talk about how I thought I did it last night actually. Like I think I can fight. Because I grew up watching too many. I believe you. Even though you don't train, I believe you. Because I grew up watching Jackie Chan films. Because he get hit once, and all he goes is like, he goes right back into. He just rubs his head.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's how it should be. And then one day I got jumped in high school, and then I got my ass kicked, and then I was like, no, I can't. You can't rub the. You can't. Yeah. You can't just do that. Yeah. I was like, this hurts. This really hurts. So like, that's also. By the way, guys, I think every guy needs to. If you think you're a badass, like you can like hurt people, you need to get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
That way you don't get killed later.
Right.
By you know, because you faced the wrong person who was like a Navy SEAL, you'll die.
Yeah.
Right. So like Daniel is a nice guy. He's not like he wasn't like me of the past where I had to like all this ego and I was like, yeah, I could hurt people because the more angry I get, the more stronger I'll be, right? Too much Goku, too much Hulk. Literally, I was like, if I get angry enough, I can win. And that's not the case. Remember that, okay? And they say too to not let your anger control you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I think self-mastery is like, no matter what your craft is, that's ultimately what you want to strive for, self-mastery. Because like things fade away, our bodies break down. That's the unfortunate truth of it. And especially if what you do is physical, you know, there's going to be a point where you don't do it quite as well, quite as fast, quite as sharp, but you do stay who you are. So if that stuff hones you into a better person and you learn to master yourself, then you're better off for it, even when, you know, like the physical starts to fade away. That's what I believe. And definitely emotions get us into some shit, you know? If you lead with your head, you're going to bump into a lot of stuff for sure.
Do you consider yourself an emotional person?
I am, dude.
Are you? Because I don't see it. Because you have like, the first time I met you, I was like, this guy's just so calm.
Really?
Yeah. Just the way you talk, like
I think I was just tired.
Yeah, you're just like you need glasses and like a bowl cut.
Yeah.
You know,
you remember that
years ago, like at church, and he'd be like, "Hey, hi, I'm Daniel." But hey, man, and I was like, I felt like I had to be careful to not wake the baby up on the side. You know what I mean? Because you're just so calm. I'm like, I feel like I'm overwhelming. Not you specifically, but like I need to calm down a bit. Right?
Nah, dude, do you?
Yeah.
you.
Well, no, it's different now. Yeah. But like back then when I met you, you just little Chinese Harry Potter. Just hey guys, it's me, Daniel. Here's what I wanted to ask. Okay, when you guys started Martial Club 7 years ago, and you were getting like 100 views or less, what kept you guys going? Because it's been 7 years. What drove you to not get affected by what they call like vanity metrics? Because it's hard. Even if we consciously know it's just like vanity. Yeah. It affects everybody. Yeah. You know? Like how did you keep putting out the content and
Yeah. I think the short answer is you just got to know your worth, you know? So what I mean by that is like we put out these fight scenes that we were doing, and deep down we knew it was good, you know, and we knew that it was the culmination of years of training and years of achievement, and we didn't put it out there for people to give us accolades, you know. We didn't get out there for views or likes or anything like that. We did this simply because we wanted to do it, you know, and we did it, and we worked hard on it, and it was something we could be proud of, and that in it of itself was worth it. You know, that was its own reward. So we put it out there for the world to see, just to see if they liked it, you know. But ultimately, it was about seeing what we can do, and it was about reaping the fruits of our own training. Wow. Yeah, and it's still that. You know, like of course now we keep we keep you guys in mind. We want to give you guys stuff you actually want to see, but still, it's all about seeing what we can do. It's about pushing our own limits and seeing what our own hard work has, you know, has given birth to.
Yeah, because I see it, man. Like, you know, I've been watching you guys for a while now, and your production value, not just the production value, but like the quality of you know, like the choreography, what the cuts of the, you know, like the camera, it's even more like streamlined and smooth. Yeah, and it's really impressive.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
It really is, and I still love that Marvel. It cracks me up just thinking about it. That's the one I watched the most. Like, I watched it like I think 4 times.
I wrote that one.
Yeah. I was just like, what the heck? This is hilarious. Like, you know, you guys chose a niche that wasn't, I think, popular, right, at the time. Like it's just very when you say niche, that's like the epitome of niche. like post stamp collectors or something. Right? But you kept
shout out to stamp collectors. You guys,
hey, all the stamp.
You guys keep it real.
Don't stop. All right, remember that. But you stuck to it, like you said. You just, a lot of people do things for others and how they may be perceived. Yeah. And that's when they stop. Right. Like if I were to keep doing stand up for the money, or I mean, there's no fucking money. Like there's none. But you have to. Now I see why it's so important to find something that you're really passionate about, that you truly like in your heart love. Yes. Because I think that's what keeps people alive, youthful, and to want to just, when things get hard, to keep pushing forward. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. Because honestly, like a lot of times it does boil down to motivation. And people do things for all kinds of reasons. Some reasons are better than others. Some people do it to please other people. Some people do it for the money. Some people do it for the girls. By the way, money, girls, that doesn't come with martial arts. It's like, I want to be able to do a backflip because I want to impress girls. Girls are not into guys you can trick, dude. Like, if they like you, it's not because you can cork. But
really, it's funny because I feel like they would have. But I don't know. I don't trick, so I have
maybe
no
it's just
idea.
me.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have
never
no
impressed a girl by doing tricks, but okay. But you do impress girls by refining your character. Because honestly, like regardless of what the motive is, it has to be for you first and foremost. Like when I did martial arts, I didn't want to impress people with my moves. I didn't want to beat people up. I wanted to be someone I could believe in. I wanted to be someone I could trust and actually like, you know, like to be able to say for myself that I'm strong, that I'm confident. That has always been the number one motivating factor. Yeah, being my own hero. Exactly. And it's also that warrior spirit, like you're saying, that martial mentality. It's like I got to move forward, you know. Whatever it is I'm doing, if I'm not constantly improving, I'm not just staying in the same spot. I'm moving back, because like that's just the nature of life. It's an uphill stream, like it's an uphill row, you know, because shit, that's just the way it's designed. Like, you know, life is gonna push you back. So if you're not constantly rowing and trying to move forward and up, you're being pushed back, and like that's just how it's got to be. You always got to be on the attack.
Yeah.
Live life on offense. Live life on offense.
It's true, because like I like Tony Robbins. Some people don't, but he says if you're not growing, you're dying.
True. I believe that.
Yeah, I didn't understand that until literally like this year.
Yeah.
Because you think like, oh, I'll just take this week off.
Yeah.
Because I've worked so hard for the past like 8 months, let's say. Like, I'll take this week off, and you take that week off, and you just feel horrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the inertia builds up fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to come back.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. When I don't do stand up for like 3 days, I feel disappointed in myself, and I feel worse. And here's the thing. I think there are certain expectations that come with finding your passion and starting to like pursue it. You have to put in a certain amount of effort and energy per day to maintain a sense of sanity, I think.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the same for like, you know, for you, but that's what I feel for stand-up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's human nature. It's like you need things to look forward to. You need things to work towards, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Dude, let me ask you a question.
Oh my God.
He's flipped the tires.
Wait, flip the tires? Is that a saying? Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm not funny, so I couldn't ever be a comedian. But like I like to imagine what it's like to be on stage, you know, especially at an open mic night where people who don't even know you are about to like see you like bare it all. And like it's that big thing where you don't know what the outcome's going to be. They could be dying and like rolling in laughter, or it could be like crickets, you know.
Yep.
What's it like to bomb?
What's it like to bomb? Okay.
Because like the way I understand it, even professionals bomb, right? Like people who have been like killing it for their whole life,
all
still
the time,
bomb,
right? It's like this. It's like the girl now, like with girls watching tricking. Like they're not gonna be like, oh wow, just because you trick, just because it's amazing. It's like that. Some people, you worked on all these jokes, and they just don't care. Yeah, they don't like your material. Yeah. So it's like finding the right audience. But in terms of the bombing aspect, when I was first bombing, all the fucking time, it was constant crickets, and you just stand up there. And you're staring at like 20 people. They're staring back at you, and then you're like, "Why aren't you laughing? Why aren't they laughing? I thought it's funny. My friends laughed at it.
I know. My mom laughed at it.
Yeah, my mom laughed at it. Oh my God. And I would just stare and just like swallow like that, and then I'd be like, yeah, and then I just like get nervous and just say something really like crazy just to act like I have confidence. Like it'd be crickets, and I'd be like, gosh. Oh yeah, dude, you know traffic. I hate LA traffic, and it's like you're just saying regurgitated information.
Yeah. It's like it's like in fighting, when you get rocked, you go back to what you know, right? Yeah.
And if you don't know much, you start like gorilla fisting, swinging, doing hammer like crazy stuff. Yeah. But here's the interesting thing now about bombing, which I'll relate it back to tricking, is now a year in, when I do quote unquote bomb, I can stay calm because I understand that it's outside of just me. It's I'm trying new material. I'm trying to figure out the funny within this specific joke, this premise that I believe in. Yeah. And I'm working on it. Yeah. So I'm not failing right now. Right. I'm literally in the process. That's what I'm doing. And just yesterday, I figured out this one joke I've been like trying to make sense of, and it felt so good. Like nothing feels better than when you keep like always crickets, nobody's getting the joke, and then finally you figure out a way to express it, to communicate it in a way that people understand and is funny. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I was like, yes.
Yes, and the
It felt so
feedback
good.
is like immediate, right? And it's super satisfying.
Yeah, yeah, and I can compare that to like the when you do tricks in tricking.
Yeah.
You're trying this new thing. You keep falling, bailing,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
what do? You keep doing it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's nothing like the feeling when it lands for the first time. And like, oh my gosh, like you just get this surge of emotion, surge of adrenaline. Suddenly you want to just keep doing it. And it, like anytime it makes you feel stupid for every time you wanted to quit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my god.
Dude. Yeah, and it's like that feeling of the impossible, the notion of impossible shattering
Yeah.
and just suddenly like entering the world of reality and possibility, dude. Everyone needs to feel that feeling. The world would be such a better place if people knew what that felt like. If everybody knew what that felt like.
Dude, the intrinsic value, nothing can beat. You man, like, because the last job I did, it was for the money, and I get the money, and I just wouldn't feel good.
Yeah.
I'd feel like right,
Yeah,
like what am I fucking doing, man? Oh, by the way, I wanted to. So, you work like crazy long hours, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance the? First of all, what are your hours? Okay. If you feel okay talking about it, like
totally.
And how do you manage that with your dream and like the daily active practice?
Yeah. Well, answering that question is still a work in progress.
Uh-huh.
I should start by saying that it's a lot better now. Like my hours aren't quite as preposterous as they used to be. Shout out to my boss. Thank you.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it used to be like crazy. So I work in the port of Los Angeles, and I work for a lab that tests oil for ships. And so my job would entail me both working like normal hours in an office and going on ships. I'm actually going on a ship tomorrow, like out in the middle of the water, you know.
Wow.
Like yeah. So what that meant was that there was a period where I was like working like 60-hour weeks, like pretty
60?
consistently, you know.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's demanding. Like just having a regular full-time job and finding time to do what you love is a tall order. And yeah, like it's definitely taught me a lot. It's definitely put some like spots under my eyes, as you can see. But I think it boils down again to motivation. It's like the job is the job. You know, we work, we get money, we do what we got to do. But outside of that, what's going to determine whether you just like go home and like sit on the couch, you know, pop open a beer and just like cry yourself to sleep, or like what's going to, you know, like cause you to go home and like just like put your gear on and go to the gym, you know? It's about what you want out of life. You know, I want Martial Club to be the premier name in like action cinema, you know? And I believe that even though I'm tired, if I get up and if I go and train martial arts and refine my craft, and I know my brothers are doing the same thing, if we keep doing that, eventually we're going to have the tools to make it happen, you know? So having that in mind, I could be really, really tired, or I could be dead. I could be like on the point of just collapsing into my bed, or I can like keep my eyes on the prize and get it done, you know? So it really does boil down to motivation. And of course, like, you know, I can say that to anybody. You keep putting in your hours and you do like, you get some positive feedback. Like you see some results, you get some affirmation from somebody, and those things help you along the way. But ultimately there's got to be that goal and that firm idea of what you want to be. And that's what keeps me going, especially when the hours are crazy.
So, damn, I just lost my thought. Like, I was waiting. I was like, this is going to be a good question. I was like, oh, man, that's going to be
It'll come back. My bad.
Fucking maybe if I hold the microphone in my right hand, because I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed. Okay. So, all right. What is your dream? Like, specific dream, like, don't put, like, reality into it. Like,
Right.
yeah, what is that dream?
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
I know. I know.
Okay. No. There's this thing. So, if you were to go on my Facebook and see like my pages, there's the obvious ones. There's like Martial Club. There's like my like Dmah from Martial Club, my individual page. Like those are things you'd expect. But there's actually this really old one. It's probably covered in layers of, you know, virtual cobwebs by now. It's called 540 Cairo.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, like back when we met in church, like that was Cairo, right? So I came up with this concept called 540 Cairo, and I still hope that one day it'll manifest in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not under the same name, but my concept with that was to start a movement. You know, a community of people who devote themselves to their craft. You know, of course, I did it with tricking in mind and martial arts in mind, but I wanted this to be a place where b-boys can come and practice and be the best b-boy they can be, where people can box and be the best boxer they can be, where people can practice their comedy and be the best comedian they can be. Basically, it was a community, a tight-knit group that met regularly and just created this culture of refining their craft in a way that pleases God. Because even though I talk like a sailor from time to time, I'm a Christian first and foremost. Yeah. So my dream is to form this community where people strive for excellence in every sense of the word, where they can learn to have abundant lives, both as people, both like in their bodies, in their spirits, in their minds. So the idea was to create this mentality and gear it towards God, you know, so that people can learn to please God by being excellent people, you know. So my goal is to do what I do to a high level, to the highest degree possible, teach others to do the same, and realize at the end, and to have all of us realize at the end that it was God who made it possible. So basically, preach the gospel through what I'm doing, through what I love to do.
I see. So creating a community of people that, like, it's not exactly the same thing of what they're pursuing, but it's parallel, but all under the name of the Lord, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. No, I think that's great, man. I mean, like, so that's still always kind of been there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like, no matter how big Martial Club gets, no matter how successful we may or may not be, I want that to be like the closing note, you know, because, you know, not to get all preachy on you guys, I know not everybody's into that, but the Bible says that Jesus came so that we may have life and have life more abundantly. Yeah. And I think that doesn't just have to be Christian jargon. Like, everybody wants an abundant life. And how do you do that? You do that by wanting things, but not just wanting superficial things, material things, by wanting significant things that make you a better person, that make others better people, that makes the world a better place. Like, those are the things we should want. And if we are living lives where we're striving for that and getting somewhere, that's abundant life. So that my idea is I want to use martial arts to teach people to live abundant lives, both for this world and for the world to come, you know? So, and the Bible also says, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. So I want some beautiful feet. I want to be spinning in the air, you know, 720, 900, whatever. And I want people to see beautiful feet because there's a beautiful message. Yeah. And so ultimately my dream is to do what I love and to use that to point people to God. That's it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Heck yeah. Deep so, as heck.
That's always been the dream, you know. And but like, just speaking for myself. Yeah. Allow me to be a little indulgent and a little vain when I say that I really do think Martial Club will be the forefront of martial arts action cinema one day.
I think so. I believe so.
Yeah. 100%. Like, I really, really want and am awaiting that day when people talk about Bruce Lee, when people talk about Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Donnie Yen. I want people to say Andy Lee and Brian Lee, you know? For me, and like... Daniel Ma. Yeah.
Daniel Ma.
like I've always seen it this way. And some people chalk it up to modesty. I think Andy Lee and Brian Lee are like some of the most talented martial artists in the world today.
Dude, yeah. No, like, I have seen many videos of other trickers, other people doing, the same thing. And it's not the same, man.
Right.
Like, from an outsider perspective, which makes it more objective, like, yeah, they're crazy.
Right.
I don't understand how a human can do that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
They're just made of something different, you know?
Yeah.
And I believe that, like, the top spot has their name on it. So, like, when I think about Martial Club and everything we can aspire to, everything we can achieve, the role that I perceive for myself is getting them there. Get it to the point where when people go, like, I want to watch a martial arts movie. Let's put on Martial Club. Let's watch Andy Lee. Let's watch Brian Lee. That's what I want. For me, like, candidly speaking, I'm not as talented of a martial artist as they are. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop practicing martial arts. I train as much as I can every day if I can to be the martial artist that I imagine myself to be, you know? But if nothing ever breaks for me, like if I'm never like if my name's never on some marquee of a movie theater, that's totally fine. Like that's totally fine as long as theirs does. But really for me, like when my body starts to break down and when I like can't kick like I used to, when I can't punch like I used to, I hope that at that point I can use my words to say what I want to say and express what I want to express. Because I come from a family of pastors, really well-spoken men, you know. I'm the black sheep. I'm the heathen amongst the family.
Oh God.
My dad's a pastor. My brother's
yeah.
a pastor. My brother-in-law is a missionary, and they all preach regularly. And like I don't know if people know this about me, but like when I sit in church and I listen to them, like of course I'm listening to the spiritual aspect of what they say, and I'm learning from that. But I also love the way they say it, because the truth is, people like. Not all preachers are good. I'm going to be candid. Like, I've fallen asleep in church once or twice or thrice, or, you know. But, like, I think there's really special about someone who can say, like, who can tell the truth and tell it in a way you want to hear it, you know. Like, I really, really admire people who have silver tongues. And I've always wanted to develop that for myself. So, like, if one day I can be in a position where I make money, like, with the way I talk, and with the way I present myself, that is the dream. You know, I'd rather do that than like be a movie star.
I actually think you're very well, because when you do those videos for Martial Club where like everybody's out of town or whatever, where it's just like you and you like do like explain something or do some kind of review or something, or like the history of something, you do it in a really good way, man. You got to give yourself a little bit more credit, but I know you can't because you're a martial artist and you're humble. And
Yeah.
But when I see that, I'm like, dude, he's like, you do have a way with words.
Thanks,
like you and. I'm not saying it just to be nice. Like I truly think that, and even more so as a comedian who words are everything.
Yeah,
like it's literally everything. Like you have it.
Thanks, man.
So I know, especially as the years go by, like it's gonna be a very real thing.
Thank you, man.
I believe that.
I really appreciate that, and I could definitely say the same about you, because like comedians have to do everything I just said and be funny. and like it's like your feedback is immediate, and that's just amazing, because it's like every nerve-wracking thing about martial arts comes into play while you're standing up there on a stage with a mic in front of your face and a bunch of people who either do or don't want to be there. And that's why like I love a good comedian. You know, I love Dave Chappelle. Apparently, people don't like Dave Chappelle anymore. Have you noticed that?
Oh my God!
0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
He was only trying to teach us the ABCs.
Yeah, I know.
What's wrong with education now?
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. No, but like, you know, that's what I was gonna say is I tried to emulate Dave Chappelle for like a bit, like for like a week or two, and I was like, I'm not him. I'm not gonna do these super crazy, like clever roundabouts. And I mean, the man's been doing it for like 30 something years too. But also, everybody's got a different style. Everybody's their own person. So, you know, even for me, like, I want to say I'd like to see myself like selling out arenas, but if that doesn't happen, as long as I can keep doing this, and I'd be happy with like filling out like a smaller club.
Yeah.
But like everybody's there just to see me.
Yeah.
You know, and I get to do what I love.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like 50,000 people. But don't get me wrong, like I'm so extroverted. I get so high off of that energy. If that were to be the case ever, or even just opening for somebody like that, like I'm fine with that as long as I can continue to do what I love.
Yeah.
And kind of serve the people with my craft, which is the same with what you do too. Like you're entertaining them, you're inspiring them. Like I've seen the like you know, how many people have started doing martial arts and tricking because you guys weren't afraid to put out this super niche style. You're not doing MMA. You're not doing like the super accepted UFC shit. You're doing this thing that potentially have been like forgotten completely,
Right.
especially in America.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even
know?
in China, even at the source.
Even in China too.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like Chinese martial arts in general, like used to enjoy a very like prestigious place in Chinese culture. That's going away. You know, like it's gotten to the point where like China used to be the home of kung fu. That's where people go to learn the top-notch martial arts in the world. Not so anymore. And it's just not worth the same thing. Taekwondo is more popular in China than
Really?
wushu, than kung fu. Yeah.
I actually like
and-
popcorn with the kimchi. I'm just saying. I'm not kidding you. I don't know why, but I'm
Dang,
just.
some
I know
blasphemy
blasphemy.
up
I
in
know
here.
blasphemous.
Dude, that's some subversive
I know, dude.
subversive shit.
I know, right?
Yeah. No, like basically the values behind it, the self-determination, you know, like determination. Like people don't care about that anymore because it doesn't make you money. You know, you can go to your mom and go like, "Oh, I got my black belt." It's like, "Oh, okay, good. Are you a doctor yet?"
Yeah,
like, like it's totally like that. It's like losing its place. And it's to the point where if you want to learn premier Chinese martial arts, sometimes you got to look outside of China. That's weird. It's really weird. Of course, like the Chinese martial artists are still the best at Chinese martial arts, but like sometimes that premium instruction's going to come from somewhere else. But more importantly, it's like people just don't understand the value of it anymore. And that's one of the core reasons why Martial Club exists, to teach people there is something to be gained from working hard and from pushing yourself to the limit and from, you know, like doing all this and like learning to be a better person through hard work. There's absolutely something to be gained. In fact, I will submit to you all that it needs to happen. You know, like these are things that we need to learn as a human race.
Okay. Do you have what's something you can tell the people that are listening now if there's something that they want to do, but they feel like people won't understand, or that they're alone, or that they maybe even shouldn't do it for whatever reason? What can you tell them?
Right. Let me think about that.
I made it super broad and generalized, so it's really hard to answer. I know that.
No, more so because the gravity just like turned up. Because like I feel like whatever I say is important, and I hope people take it to heart. I think ultimately you need to be able to envision this ideal version of yourself. And you need to like be sure that whatever it is you're thinking about doing is going to contribute to making that person a reality. And, you know, ultimately it has to be for you. It can't be for other people because, you know, people go away for various reasons.
So true.
But at the end of the day, you're left with yourself. So it's like, did what I put all this time and effort into, was that for someone else or was that for me? Was it for that one person who's not here anymore? Or was it for me who's still here, who I still have to deal with at the end of the day? Definitely, you got to envision, you got to think that you can be something. And then you've got to like work towards making that happen. So understand that whatever it is you want to do is contributing to who that person is going to be. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
No, it's good. Basically, yeah. I'll add to that.
Yeah.
To be able to give back, to be happy to begin with, and then when you're happy, you can really give back even more to the people.
Right.
It requires an element of selfishness.
Right.
It truly does.
Yeah.
And even if that means going against, this is not what Daniel's saying, this is what I'm saying, going against what your parents' wishes are. Like truly, like if I kept doing what my parents wished, I would be the saddest, like most miserable person in the fucking world. And I would not want to be on this earth. It's a fact. Okay, this is I feel like I'm like trying to like tell people to do what you want to fucking do. You parents go away, people go away.
Yeah.
It's a you really it sounds like it's like we're being like morbid and whatever, but it's a fucking truth.
Yeah.
Right? And
because at the end of the day, you got to do right by you. And that's why I want to emphasize this notion of self, not to be selfish, not to be like flippant with the feelings and the wishes of other people. But it really does have to be about you. And not only that, like, that's your key to success. Because my belief is that if you want to be good at anything, you have to absorb that ish into yourself. It has to be part of your DNA. You have to identify with it on a very deep level. Only then can you really, really like reach heights. Because for example, if I'm trying to learn another language, if I'm trying to speak Spanish, if I don't in my mind embody like the cultural aspect and the identity of someone who speaks Spanish, I'll always like, maybe I'll learn the language, but I'll never speak it like a native speaker speaks it. If I'm trying to do Kung Fu and like it's not in my blood, not in my DNA, then I will never amount to anything. I'll just look like some goofy dude doing these postures from 2,000 years ago. Like, you really, really have to embody it and absorb it into the deepest facet of yourself. Like, for sure, like, same with comedy, same with acting, same with anything. Like, if it's not a part of you to the minute, you know, like, if it's not in between your atoms, basically, like, you'll never fully embrace it. You'll never fully get anywhere.
Yeah,
for sure.
That is true. So, Mr. Ma?
Yes.
Mr. Dmah?
Yeah.
Year of the Not Horse. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time. And guys, if you haven't checked out Martial Club yet, you can check them out at...
You can find us everywhere. Martial Club is on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube for some kick-ass martial arts content. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We all have our individual accounts.
What's your individual account?
My individual handle is Dmah from Martial Club because I'm Dmah from Martial Club.
That is.
Follow Andy Lee. He's Martial Club official. I think with the _ Martial Club official _ something like that. Yeah. Brian Lee is Brian Demon Wolf Lee. You can find us all on Instagram. You will. The entertainment never stops.
Yeah,
and
they post often, all the time, and it's not only is it entertaining, but it's very inspiring and motivational, and you can see what's possible if you keep pushing and you believe in yourself and you don't stop. Persistence is key. Do what the fuck you want. Never let anybody tell you otherwise, all right?
It sounds so much better when Mike says it. And last shameless plug, if you like the shirt I'm wearing, we have Martial Club merchandise at bigcartel.com. But don't order too much because I'm handling all the shipments right. No, just kidding. Just kidding. If you want a Martial Club shirt, they're for sale at bigcartel.com. And but most of all, just watch our stuff. And,
watch their stuff.
Just be inspired and let it push you towards what you want to do. And
always believe. Never give up. And don't touch yourself too much. Okay, all right. Well, see you next time.
Peace, guys. Peace.
Fuck yeah.